What if the secret to unshakable confidence lies not in fighting life's chaos, but in embracing it with calm, unshaken power? Imagine walking through criticism, failure, or betrayal without losing an ounce of your inner peace. Carl Jung, the master of the human psyche, revealed how to master this art, how to act as if nothing bothers you. In this video, we're diving deep into Carl Jung's timeless wisdom to uncover practical steps that will transform the way you face life's storms, from confronting your hidden fears to crafting a persona that commands respect. You'll discover how to become untouchable, no matter what the world throws at you. Stay with us, because by the end of this journey, you'll feel empowered to take control of your mind and your destiny. Let's unlock the secrets of Carl Jung's psychology together. Have you ever snapped at a co-worker's critique, felt your blood boil over a stranger's comment, or lost sleep over a fleeting moment of embarrassment? Those reactions aren't just random. They're signals from a hidden part of you that Carl Jung called the shadow. To act as if nothing bothers you, you first need to understand what's pulling your strings. The shadow is the key to unlocking that unshakable mindset. And today, we're diving deep into Carl Jung's psychology to uncover why you feel triggered and how to take back control. So, what exactly is the shadow? In Carl Jung's framework, the shadow is the unconscious part of your psyche, the repository of everything you've pushed away: your fears, insecurities, suppressed désir, and unacknowledged weaknesses. It's the side of you that you don't want the world to see, the parts you've buried because they feel shameful, weak, or unacceptable. But here's the catch: the shadow doesn't stay buried. It sneaks out in moments of stress, anger, or vulnerability, making you react in ways that feel out of your control. When someone's words sting or a setback feels like a personal attack, it's often your shadow at play, whispering insecurities you didn't even know you had. Let's paint a picture with a real-life example. Meet Sarah, a 32-year-old marketing manager who's confident, driven, and always polished at work. But every time her boss gives her constructive feedback, Sarah feels a wave of defensiveness. Her heart races, her face flushes, and she spends hours replaying the conversation, convincing herself she's not good enough. Why does this happen? Sarah's shadow harbors a deep fear of failure, a belief she's not as competent as she seems. Her boss's feedback, though well-intentioned, pokes at that hidden insecurity, triggering an emotional reaction she can't seem to shake. Sound familiar? We've all been Sarah at some point, caught off guard by a reaction that feels bigger than the moment calls for. Carl Jung taught us that the shadow isn't your enemy. It's a part of you. Ignoring it only gives it more power to act as if nothing bothers you. You need to face your shadow head-on, to shine a light on those hidden fears and insecurities. When you do, you start to understand why certain things get under your skin. That coworker's snarky comment, it's not about them, it's about the doubt you've buried deep inside. That rejection that stung for weeks, it's tied to a fear of not being enough. The shadow thrives in the dark. But when you bring it into awareness, you strip away its ability to control you. Here's where it gets powerful. Recognizing your shadow doesn't just explain your reactions, it gives you the tools to change them. Carl Jung called this process shadow work, the act of exploring and integrating those hidden parts of yourself. By doing so, you stop being a puppet to your triggers. You start responding with intention, not reacting out of instinct. Imagine Sarah pausing the next time her boss offers feedback. Instead of spiraling into self-doubt, she asks herself, why does this bother me? Is this about my fear of not being good enough? By naming her shadow, she takes away its power. She listens to the feedback, nods, and moves forward calm, collected, and in control. So, How do you start this journey? Let's break it down with a practical step you can take today. Grab a notebook and try this exercise. Think of the last time you felt bothered. Maybe a comment that stung, a failure that hit hard, or a moment that left you fuming. Write down what happened and how it made you feel. Then, dig deeper. What belief or fear did that moment touch? Was it a fear of rejection? A belief you're not worthy? Be honest. No one's judging you here. This is your first step toward shadow work. A way to map out the hidden triggers that make you react. The more you do this, the more you'll see patterns emerge. And those patterns are your roadmap to becoming unshakable. Let's look at another example to bring this home. Consider James, a college student who freezes up every time he has to speak in class. His classmates don't notice. But inside, James is battling a storm of anxiety. He's terrified of sounding foolish. A fear rooted in his shadow, a belief that he's not as smart as others. Through shadow work, James starts journaling about these moments. He realizes his fear stems from a childhood memory of being laughed at during a school presentation. By acknowledging this, he begins to reframe his fear. Public speaking isn't about proving his worth. It's just a task. The next time he's called on in class, he takes a deep breath, speaks, and feels a little less shaken. Over time, those moments of fear lose their grip, and James starts to carry himself with quiet confidence. Carl Jung's wisdom tells us that the shadow isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. Every time you feel bothered, it's an invitation to grow. Instead of pushing those feelings away, lean into them. Ask yourself, what's this teaching me about myself? By doing so, you're not just managing your reactions, you're building a foundation for true inner strength. The world can't touch you when you know your shadow, because you've already faced the parts of yourself that once made you vulnerable. This is the first step to acting as if nothing bothers you. Understanding that your triggers aren't about the world, they're about you. When you shine a light on your shadow, you take the first step toward mastery. You stop letting external events dictate your emotions. You start choosing how you respond. And in that choice lies your power. Stay with us as we move to the next chapter, where we'll explore how to craft a persona that radiates unshakable confidence. No matter what life throws your way, picture this. You're in a high-stakes meeting, all eyes on you, and someone throws a sharp critique your way. Your heart races. Your mind scrambles, but on the outside, you're calm, composed, and untouchable. How do you pull that off? Carl Jung's concept of the persona holds the answer. The persona is the mask you wear in the world, the face you show to others. And when crafted with intention, it becomes your shield, a way to project unshakable confidence, no matter how you feel inside. In this chapter, we'll explore how to build a persona that radiates strength, helping you act as if nothing bothers you, even in life's toughest moments. So, what is the persona? In Carl Jung's psychology, the persona is the social self you present to the world, a carefully curated version of you that navigates relationships, work, and society. It's not about being fake. It's about choosing how you want to be seen. Think of it like an actor stepping into a role. You decide the character you play in each scene of life. The key is to craft a persona that embodies calm, control, and resilience. So when chaos hits, you don't just survive, you thrive. This is how you walk through criticism, pressure, or setbacks without flinching, because your persona becomes your armor. Let's bring this to life with a real example. Meet David, a 40-year-old entrepreneur pitching his startup to a room full of skeptical investors. Inside, David's a nervous wreck, his stomach's in knots, and he's terrified of rejection. But on the outside, he's a different man. He stands tall, speaks with clarity, and responds to tough questions with a steady smile. How does he do it? David has spent months building his persona as a confident leader. He practiced his tone, his posture, even the way he pauses before answering. Over time, this persona became second nature. When the investors fire tough questions, David's inner doubts stay hidden, and his persona takes center stage. The result? The investors see a leader they trust, and David lands the deal. Carl Jung taught us that the persona isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about amplifying the strongest parts of yourself. Your persona is a tool, a way to channel your inner strength when the world feels overwhelming. It's like putting on a suit of armor before heading into battle. You might feel scared or uncertain inside, but your persona projects power, making others believe in your unshakable confidence and, over time, making you believe it too. The more you practice this, the more your persona shapes your reality. You start to become the calm, untouchable person you project. How do you build this kind of persona? It starts with intention. First, define the version of yourself you want the world to see. Do you want to be seen as calm under pressure, resilient in the face of setbacks, charismatic in tough conversations? Write down the qualities you admire in the strongest people you know. Maybe it's their poise, their ability to listen without reacting, or their quiet authority. This is your blueprint for your persona. For David, it was the image of a leader who never flinches, no matter the stakes. What's your vision? Next, practice stepping into this role. This is where visualization comes in, a powerful tool Carl Jung himself emphasized. Close your eyes and picture yourself as this unshakable version of you. See yourself walking into a tense situation, a heated argument, a critical meeting, or a moment of rejection. How does this version of you stand? How do they speak? How do they respond? Visualize every detail: your steady voice, your relaxed posture, the way you hold eye contact. The more vividly you imagine this, the more your mind starts to wire itself to act this way in real life. It's like rehearsing for a play. Each practice makes the performance feel more natural. Let's look at another example to drive this home. Consider Emily, a 28-year-old teacher who used to dread parent-teacher conferences. Parents would question her methods, and she'd stumble over her words, feeling like a fraud. But Emily decided to change that. She worked on her persona, modeling it after a mentor. She admired a teacher who spoke with warmth but authority. Emily practiced her tone in the mirror, rehearsed responses to tough questions, and visualized herself staying calm no matter what. At her next conference, when a parent challenged her, Emily didn't crumble. She smiled, nodded, and responded with clarity, her persona fully in control. The parent backed off, impressed, and Emily felt a surge of confidence she'd never known before. This is the power of the persona. It's not just about how others see you, it's about how you see yourself. When you consistently step into this role, it rewires your brain. You start to believe in your own strength, and that belief becomes unshakable. Carl Jung called this process a step toward individuation, where you integrate different parts of yourself to become whole. Your persona isn't a lie. It's a bridge to the strongest version of you. Here's a practical exercise to start building your persona today. Take 5 minutes to write down 3 qualities you want your persona to embody. Say, calmness, confidence, and resilience. Then, pick one situation where you often feel bothered. Maybe it's a tough conversation with a boss, a family member's criticism, or a high-pressure moment. Visualize yourself in that situation. embodying those three qualities. Practice this visualization daily for a week, and then test it in real life. The next time you're in that situation, channel your persona. Stand a little taller, speak a little slower, and watch how the dynamic shifts. You'll be amazed at how much power this simple act can unlock. The persona is your secret weapon. It's how you project strength when you feel weak, calm when you're shaken, and control when the world feels chaotic. By crafting a persona rooted in Carl Jung's wisdom, you're not just acting as if nothing bothers you, you're becoming someone who truly isn't fazed. Stay with us as we move to the next chapter, where we'll dive into the art of emotional detachment, learning how to let go of the triggers that hold you back. Have you ever felt your emotions hijack your day? A snide comment ruins your mood. A rejection spirals into self-doubt. Or a small setback leaves you fuming for hours. What if you could let those moments pass without losing your peace? In Carl Jung's psychology, the art of emotional detachment is a cornerstone of inner strength. It's not about becoming cold or unfeeling. It's about choosing not to let external triggers control your inner world. In this chapter, we'll explore how to master mindful indifference, a skill that lets you stay calm and focused, acting as if nothing bothers you, no matter what life throws your way. Emotional detachment, in Carl Jung's framework, is about creating space between your feelings and your actions. It's the ability to observe your emotions without letting them dictate your behavior. Carl Jung believed that our reactions often stem from unconscious forces like the shadow we explored earlier, pushing us to act impulsively. When you practice detachment, you take back control. You decide how to respond, not your anger, fear, or frustration. This is what allows you to walk through life's chaos with a steady heart, projecting a presence so powerful that others can't help but notice. Let's see this in action with a real-life story. Meet Mia, a 29-year-old graphic designer who faced a devastating betrayal. Her best friend spread rumors about her at work, hoping to undermine her reputation. Initially, Mia was crushed. Her instinct was to confront her friend, vent her anger, and set the record straight. But then she paused. Instead of reacting, Mia chose a detachment. She asked herself, will getting angry fix this, or will it just drain my energy? She decided to let the rumors slide, focusing instead on her work and her goals. By staying calm and professional, Mia not only preserved her peace, but also earned respect from her colleagues, who saw her unshaken strength. Her friend, expecting a dramatic reaction, was left unsettled by Mia's silence. That's the power of detachment. It shifts the dynamic in your favor. Carl Jung's teachings suggest that detachment is a conscious choice to prioritize your inner peace over external chaos. It's not about suppressing emotions, it's about recognizing that you don't have to act on every feeling. When someone criticizes you, your first impulse might be to defend yourself. When you face a setback, you might want to lash out or wallow in frustration. But detachment means stepping back, observing those emotions, and asking, is this worth my energy most of the time? The answer is no. By letting go of the need to react, you protect your mental clarity and keep your focus on what truly matters. Here's another example to bring this home. Consider Alex, a 35-year-old software developer who used to take every work critique personally. A manager's note about a coding error would send him into a spiral of self-doubt, making him question his skills. But Alex started practicing detachment after learning about Carl Jung's ideas. The next time his manager pointed out a mistake, Alex took a deep breath and thought, this feedback is about the code, not my worth. Instead of arguing or overthinking, he nodded, fixed the error, and moved on. Over time, his manager noticed his calm professionalism and began trusting him with bigger projects. Alex's detachment didn't just save his peace, it elevated his career. So, how do you cultivate this skill? One powerful technique is the 5-second pause. The next time you feel an emotional trigger, anger, hurt, or frustration, count to 5 before responding. In those 5 seconds, ask yourself, is this situation worth my emotional energy? Will reacting change anything meaningful? This simple practice creates a gap between your feelings and your actions, giving you the space to choose a response that aligns with your goals. It's like hitting the brakes on a runaway car suddenly. You're back in the driver's seat. Another key practice is reframing your perspective. Carl Jung emphasized the importance of seeing emotions as temporary, not defining. When something bothers you, remind yourself, this feeling is just a moment, not my reality. For Mia, the betrayal felt like a personal attack, but she reframed it as someone else's insecurity, not a reflection of her value. For Alex, a critique wasn't a judgment of his worth, it was just data to improve his work. By reframing triggers as external events, not personal truths, you strip them of their power to shake you. Let's try a practical exercise to start practicing detachment today. Think of a recent moment when you felt triggered, maybe a co-worker's comment, a family argument, or a frustrating delay. Write down what happened, how it made you feel, and how you reacted. Now, imagine you could go back and respond with detachment. What would you say or do differently? Maybe you'd stay silent, nod, and walk away. Maybe you'd focus on your next step instead of dwelling on the moment. Practice this in your mind. And the next time a trigger hits, apply the 5-second pause and your reframed perspective. You'll be amazed at how much lighter you feel when you don't let emotions take the wheel. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care wisely. It's about protecting your energy for what moves you forward, not wasting it on fleeting frustrations. Carl Jung's wisdom teaches us that true strength lies in mastering your inner world. So external chaos can't touch you. When you practice mindful indifference, you become someone who doesn't just survive life's challenges, you navigate them with grace and power. Stay with us as we move to the next chapter, where we'll uncover how silence can become your ultimate weapon for staying unshaken. In a world that's constantly shouting for attention, where everyone feels the need to speak, argue, or prove themselves, what if the most powerful move you could make is to say nothing at all? Silence, as Carl Jung's teachings suggest, is not just the absence of words, it's a deliberate choice. A tool that amplifies your presence and shifts the power in any situation. When you master the art of silence, you become an enigma, someone who commands respect without demanding it. In this chapter, we'll explore how silence, rooted in Carl Jung's psychology, becomes your secret weapon to stay unshaken, acting as if nothing bothers you, no matter the chaos around you. Carl Jung believed that true strength comes from listening to your inner voice, the quiet wisdom of your psyche that speaks when you stop reacting to external noise. Silence allows you to connect with this inner voice, giving you clarity and control in moments of tension. When you choose silence over impulsive reactions, you're not just avoiding conflict, you're reclaiming power. Silence unnerves others because it defies their expectations. It forces them to fill the void, revealing their own insecurities while you remain composed. Untouchable and in control. Let's bring this to life with a real example. Meet John, a 38-year-old project manager who used to dread team meetings. His colleagues would interrupt, challenge his ideas, or push back on his plans. And John's instinct was to jump in, defend himself. or argue back. But after learning about Carl Jung's ideas, John tried something different: silence. In one heated meeting, when a co-worker questioned his strategy with a sharp tone, John didn't react. He leaned back, took a deep breath, and let the silence stretch. The room grew tense. His co-worker, expecting a quick defense, started over-explaining, stumbling over their words. John's silence shifted the dynamic suddenly. All eyes were on him, waiting for his response. When he finally spoke, calm and measured, his words carried weight. His team began to see him as a leader who didn't need to shout to be heard. Silence, in Carl Jung's framework, is a way to align with your persona, the confident mask we discussed earlier, while staying grounded in your inner truth. It's a bridge between your inner world and the external chaos, allowing you to observe without being swept away. When you stay silent in a tense moment, you're not just holding back words, you're holding space for clarity. You're listening to your inner voice, assessing the situation, and choosing a response that serves your purpose. This is what makes silence so powerful. It's not passive, it's strategic. Let's look at another example. Consider Rachel, a 25-year-old freelancer who faced a difficult client. The client criticized her work harshly in a video call, expecting her to get defensive or upset. Instead, Rachel paused, smiled softly, and said nothing for a moment. The silence made the client uncomfortable. They started backtracking, offering explanations, and even softening their tone. Rachel's quiet presence shifted the power dynamic. When she finally responded, her calm, professional reply disarmed the client completely. By choosing silence, Rachel didn't just avoid a fight, she established herself as someone in control, someone who couldn't be rattled. How do you harness this power? One simple technique is to practice intentional pauses. The next time you're in a heated conversation or a high-pressure situation, resist the urge to respond immediately. Take a moment, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever feels right, and let the silence do its work. Notice how others react. They might fidget, repeat themselves, or reveal more than they intended. In that pause, you're gathering information, calming your emotions, and reinforcing your persona as someone unshakable. It's like pressing a reset button on the conversation, putting you back in the driver's seat. Another key practice is to see silence as a form of observation. Carl Jung emphasized the importance of self-awareness, and silence is a gateway to it. When you're silent, you're not just withholding words, you're watching, listening, and learning. You notice the tone of someone's voice, the hesitation in their words, or the emotions they're trying to hide. This gives you an edge. While others are busy reacting, you're strategizing, choosing your next move with precision. Silence turns you into a chess player in a world of checkers. Here's a practical exercise to start using silence today. Think of a situation where you often feel pressured to respond quickly. Maybe a family argument, a workplace critique, or a tense social moment. The next time it happens, challenge yourself to stay silent for at least 5 seconds before speaking. In that moment, ask yourself, what's really happening here? What's driving this situation? Then, respond with intention, not impulse. Try this for a week, and notice how it changes the dynamic. You'll likely find that people respect you more, not because you said more, but because you said less, and what you did say carried weight. Silence isn't just about control, it's about mystery. Carl Jung believed that the psyche thrives on depth, and silence creates that depth. When you don't rush to fill the void, you become an enigma. People wonder what you're thinking, Why you're so calm. How you stay so composed. That mystery amplifies your presence, making you someone others look up to but can't quite figure out. In a world obsessed with noise, the one who masters silence holds the real power. This is the secret of fielding silence. Is not weakness, it's strength. It's the ability to stay steady when others expect you to break. By embracing silence, you align with Carl Jung's vision of inner strength, connecting with your deepest self while projecting unshakable confidence to the world. Stay with us as we move to the final chapter, where we'll explore how Carl Jung's concept of individuation can help you become the ultimate version of yourself, someone truly untouchable. What does it mean to be truly unshakable, not just acting like nothing bothers you, but being someone who is untouched by life's chaos? Carl Jung called this journey individuation, the process of becoming your most authentic, whole self by integrating all parts of your psyche, your shadow, your persona, and your inner truth. It's the ultimate path to inner strength, where criticism, setbacks, or external noise no longer shake you because you've built a core so solid that nothing can break it. In this final chapter, we'll explore how Carl Jung's concept of individuation transforms you into the unshakable version of yourself, ready to face the world with confidence and peace. Individuation, in Carl Jung's psychology, is about becoming whole. It's not about erasing your flaws or ignoring your emotions. It's about embracing every part of you, even the messy, hidden ones, your shadow, with its fears and insecurities, your persona, the mask you wear for the world, and your inner desires all come together to form the real you. When these parts are in harmony, you stop being pulled in different directions by external triggers. You no longer react impulsively to criticism or crumble under pressure. Instead, you move through life with a quiet, unshakable confidence, knowing exactly who you are and what you stand for. Let's bring this to life with a real story. Meet Lisa, a 34-year-old writer who spent years feeling stuck. She was crushed by rejection letters from publishers, paralyzed by self-doubt, and constantly worried about what others thought of her work. Lisa's shadow held a deep fear of not being good enough, and every rejection felt like proof of that fear. But then she discovered Carl Jung's concept of individuation. She began working on her self-journaling to uncover her shadow, practicing a confident persona in social settings, and reflecting on her true passions. Over time, Lisa realized that her worth wasn't tied to external validation. She started writing for herself, not for approval. When the next rejection came, she didn't spiral. She smiled, filed it away, and kept writing. That's individuation in action. Lisa became whole, and no external event could shake her core. Carl Jung taught that individuation is a lifelong journey, but every step you take makes you stronger. It starts with self-awareness, knowing your shadow, as we discussed in Chapter 1, and building a persona, as we explored in Chapter 2. It continues with emotional detachment, as we learned in Chapter 3, and the strategic use of silence, as we covered in Chapter 4. Each of these steps builds toward a version of you that is integrated, balanced, and resilient. When you're on this path, the opinions of others, the sting of failure, or the weight of pressure lose their power. You become untouchable because your strength comes from within. How do you start this journey? One powerful practice is self-reflection. Take time each day to check in with yourself. Ask, what part of me felt triggered today? Was it my shadow? Was my persona aligned with my true self? Journaling is a great tool for this. Write about your emotions, your reactions, and what they reveal about your inner world. For Lisa, journaling helped her uncover her fear of inadequacy and reframe it as a drive to create meaningful work. This kind of reflection helps you see the pieces of your psyche and how they fit together, guiding you toward wholeness. Another key step is setting a personal vision. Carl Jung believed that individuation requires a sense of purpose, a guiding star that keeps you grounded. What do you want to stand for? Maybe it's being a compassionate leader, a creative innovator, or simply someone who lives authentically. Define this vision and let it guide your actions. When you have a clear purpose, petty distractions like criticism or setbacks become irrelevant. They're just noise, not obstacles. Lisa's vision was to write stories that inspired others, and that focus helped her tune out the rejections that once derailed her. Let's look at another example to drive this home. Consider Mark, a 42-year-old nurse who struggled with burnout. The constant demands of his job and the emotional weight of caring for patients left him drained and reactive. But Mark began exploring individuation after reading about Carl Jung. He started by acknowledging his shadow, his resentment toward demanding patients, and worked to accept it without judgment. He crafted a persona as a calm, empathetic caregiver. Even on tough days, he practiced detachment by not taking every complaint personally and used silence to stay composed during conflicts. Over time, Mark felt a shift. He wasn't just surviving his shifts, he was thriving, bringing his best self to work. His colleagues noticed his newfound calm, and patients trusted him more. Mark's journey toward individuation made him unshakable. No matter how chaotic his days became, here's a practical exercise to kickstart your individuation journey today. Take 10 minutes to write down your personal vision. What kind of person do you want to become? Be specific. Maybe it's someone who stays calm in conflict, inspires others with their work, or lives with unapologetic authenticity. Then, identify one small action you can take this week to align with that vision. It could be pausing before reacting to a critique, practicing silence in a tense moment, or journaling about a fear in your shadow. Commit to this action and reflect on how it feels. Each step you take builds the foundation of your unshakable self. Individuation is the ultimate transformation. It's not about being perfect, it's about being whole. When you integrate your shadow, your persona, and your purpose, you become someone who doesn't just act as if nothing bothers them. You become someone who truly isn't fazed. Carl Jung's wisdom shows us that the world can't touch you when you know who you are. Criticism becomes feedback. Setbacks become leçons. Pressure becomes a chance to shine. This is the power of individuation. It makes you untouchable. Not because you're invulnerable, but because you're complete. As we wrap up this journey, remember that becoming unshakable is a process, not a destination. Every moment you choose self-awareness, craft your persona, practice detachment, orimbrasi, silence. You're stepping closer to the person you're meant to be. Stay with us for the outro, where we'll tie it all together and give you a final push to live Carl Jung's wisdom every day. You've just walked through a transformative journey with Carl Jung's timeless wisdom, learning how to act as if nothing bothers you. From uncovering your shadow to building a confident persona, mastering emotional detachment, harnessing the power of silence, and embarking on the path of individuation, you now hold the tools to become untouchable, not just in how you act, but in who you are. Carl Jung's psychology isn't just theory, it's a roadmap to a life of inner strength, where criticism, setbacks, and chaos no longer shake your core. You have the power to rise above, to move through life with a calm, unshakable presence that inspires others and transforms you. This is your moment. Every time you pause before reacting, choose silence over chaos. Orimbrasi your shadow. You're stepping closer to the ultimate version of yourself, A person who doesn't just survive life's storms, but thrives in them. The world will always throw challenges your way, but with Carl Jung's wisdom, you can face them with grace, confidence, and power. So, take what you've learned today and make it real. Start small. Try one exercise from this video. Whether it's journaling your shadow or practicing a 5-second pause, each step you take builds a stronger, more unshakable you. If this journey resonated with you, hit that like button to let us know. It fuels our passion to create more content like this. Share this video with someone who needs to hear Carl Jung's wisdom, and subscribe to Jung Psyche Hub with the bell icon so you never miss a step on your path to self-discovery. Drop a comment below. What's one thing you'll do today to become more unshakable? We can't wait to hear your story. Let's keep exploring the depths of the psyche together, because when you master your inner world, the outer world can't touch you. See you in the next video.